I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the September 8th, 2021 regular meeting of the Schertz Planning and Zoning Commission. Item number 2, seat an alternate, is not required this evening. Item number 3, hearing of residents. Do we have anybody? No one? All righty. Moving right along, item number 4 is the consent agenda. We have a single item, the minutes for the August 25th, 2021 regular meeting. Does that item need to be pulled for discussion? If not, I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll motion to approve.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ray to approve consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Odom. No discussion on the consent agenda. Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 7 ayes, none opposed, motion passes. Okay, item number 5 is a public hearing. Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing related to zone change requests and replats within this agenda. The public hearing will be open to receive a report from staff, the applicant, the adjoining property owners affected by the applicant's request, and any other interested persons. Upon completion, the public hearing will be closed. The Commission will discuss and consider the application and may request additional information from staff or the applicant if required. After deliberation, the Commission is asked to consider and act upon the following requests and make a recommendation to the City Council if necessary. So we have a single public hearing this evening, item 5A, ZC 2021-011. Hold a public hearing, consider and make a recommendation on a request to rezone 1.373 acres of land from pre-development district to single-family residential/agricultural district, generally located 750 feet east of the intersection between Trainer Hill Road and FM 1518, 9049 Trainer Hill Road, also known as Bexar County Property Identification Number 310238, City of Schertz, Bexar County, Texas. Megan?
Good evening, Commission. This is for ZC 2021-011. This is the Trainer Hill Subdivision Zone Change. Megan Harrison, planner. So just to provide reference for the property, the property here is outlined in green. This is Trainer Hill Road and then FM 1518. We did send out 7 public hearing notices on August 27th to the property owners within the 200 feet. At the time of the staff report, we did not receive any responses, either opposed or in favor. However, just before this meeting started, I did receive one that is opposed to the zone change. So here is the zoning exhibit. So the property, I know it's quite small, but the property is the one right here in the middle, and then as well right here. So currently the property is zoned pre-development. They are wanting to, it is used as a single-family residential use, and they are wanting to zone change to single-family residential use agricultural. So the comprehensive land use plan, as you see here, so kind of imagining the lines, the property is within, most likely right here. The property is under the comp plan as the estate neighborhood. So the estate neighborhood is that 0.5 acres, which is, this property is well over that. It's 1.373 acres. The comprehensive land use plan designates this property as the estate neighborhood, which is intended to encourage those larger lot sizes. The property does align with the single-family residential agricultural district within the state neighborhood land use designation. So within the comp plan, it does make the mention of that RA zoning district, which is what they are proposing to rezone to. The property is surrounded by properties that are zoned pre-development. So I'm not sure. So I did not provide it, but so the properties around them are also zoned pre-development, which the property was annexed in 2011, and so it was given that base zoning of the pre-development. Therefore, that's why they are kind of going through this process at this time. So even though the adjacent properties are not zoned single-family residential, they're still being used as such. So most of the properties out there are all being used as single-family. Each one is over the 1 acre and having one single-family residential dwelling. So also, if you can imagine, the Cross Vine subdivision is across FM 1518, and most of the properties on Weir Seguin Road are also zoned that single-family residential agricultural, which would be, you know, compatible with what is out there right now. So with that being said, staff does recommend approval for the proposed zone change from that pre-development zoning district to the single-family residential agricultural district. The applicant isn't here, but I'm able to answer any questions if need be.
All right, thank you, Megan. All right, this item is on the agenda for a public hearing, so at this time I'll open the hearing for public input. Anyone wishing to address the commission, please step forward, and if you would, give us your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Richard Bassett, 9058 Trainer Hale, directly adjacent to this property that is asking to be rezoned. I have reason to believe that any commercial interest on the property adjoining Farm to Market Road 1518 would remain. However, because the welding company that is adjacent to our property, definitely commercial interest, and then causing that section to be left as commercial would allow for higher pricing and indiscriminate businesses. While mine, which would be down closer to our flood zone area, would be reduced in the same way, because even though we have commercial interest there, we would not be able or allowed to bring these companies in. There would be a division in their property lines by 1 acre. So there would be 9 of us that would suffer for the process of one person. I believe that he has overpriced his property and his interest in his property by a full 25 to 30%. His property has been for sale for over 120 days at his current asking price and has currently been taken off the market because there are no bids. Yes, I like the man. I like his wife. They've been my neighbors for 5 or 6 years. But I do not believe that the profit of one should curtail or mislead others, causing us to either lose or end up with less sustainable sales advantage. I thank you very kindly for your efforts. The property would become a commercial C-zone with just the 1 acre in the middle dividing the legs of the property. All of us with the same frontage on 1518. The difference being there's a small creek down at the bottom that is subject to flood every 100 years. And because of that, part of that commercial zone is based on and located in, around, and near that creek. I hope I have based my claim as clearly as possible. And I thank you kindly for your efforts and your interest. Would there be any questions at this time?
All right, well, thank you, sir. We appreciate your input. Anyone else? Going once? Twice? Closed for public input. Commissioners, your turn. Megan, could you put the area map back up there again so we can see that property? And commissioners, would you mind if I ask the public speaker a couple of questions, just to clarify? Sir, could you, so your property is adjacent, you see the property outlined in green on the map,
Yes, sir.
and you're adjacent to that?
Yes, sir.
On which side, towards 1518?
No, I would be on,
You're on
This
that
side
side?
here.
Okay. So when you're talking about commercial property, could you show me where, because none of that is commercially zoned, okay? So I'm a little confused, and so if you could show me what you think, or what you meant when you were talking about commercial property.
this, sir, would be Mad Dog Welding.
I'm sorry, yeah,
I'm sorry, this,
Megan,
I'm
would
not used
you,
to the
would you
little-
help him, please? I'm just trying to clarify in my mind so we know exactly what we're talking about.
there we are, right there.
Okay, so they're
Yes,
behind
Mad
you.
Dog property is right there.
Okay, yeah, I got
And his
you.
brother, which is a owner,
Uh-huh,
is is adjacent to him right there.
yeah,
And the two of them have combined this property to be commercial.
okay,
On this end, where you see all the little dots and what have you down here,
uh-huh,
is their refuge yard.
okay,
So all of this is little over, well, I wish this thing would stay there, is a little over 11 acres right in here. This area here is currently a ranch, a large ranch, 50, 60 acres. Right there, 50, 60 acres.
okay,
This is where the first acreage is that is currently being used as individual housing or individual residence. New structure, been there less than 5 years. This house is owned by the Friesenhans. They are their daughter-in-law, and her husband bought that as part of their restaurant business at the corner of Converse Road and I-10. This is my next door neighbor. He just purchased this
okay.
less than a year ago.
All right, sir, well, I think...
And then there's me right
yeah.
here. This again is another ranch,
Yeah,
another ranch.
okay. Well,
They have the 10-year clause that
Yeah.
says they cannot be imposed upon, they're capped out.
well,
then
if I
right over
might
here-
interrupt you here just for a moment, and thank you, you've helped me out here, and you've answered my question, so thank you, and we'll continue the discussion with staff if you don't mind.
Yes, sir, and as the lady mentioned, across from 1518 is the brand-new subdivision, and they have made offers on these first two lots on the very front.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioners, you have anything before I jump in here?
I did have a
Go
couple questions.
go ahead, Jim.
So,
since this is not newly annexed, but annexed in there, and the zoning is related to that annexation, this one family wanting to change the zoning to, what's it going to be now?
Single-family residential agricultural.
All right, okay. From staff's point of view, what kind of impact does that have on the adjoining lots, the adjacent lots that are right now being used as single-family residences?
It wouldn't have any impact. It's now providing the zoning district of what is actually being used for of single-family.
The only really, what comes to mind is, why are they doing it? Is it necessary? Is it necessary for some other, if they're going to build a different house on it or something like that? Why would they need to change the zoning?
So yes, so if they wanted to build a new house, the zoning district does not allow them to do that.
Okay, that answers my question. Thanks.
And just wanted to clarify, the properties that are surrounding this property are not within the city of Schertz
Correct.
city limits.
Yeah, I was going to point that out, looking at the zoning map, that's all development agreement property around
Yes, so
it.
this is under delayed annexation agreements. Off the top of my head, I wouldn't know exactly which one it is. There's about 120-ish.
Yeah.
But yes, this is all under delayed annexation agreement, just as the same one to the south of the property as well.
And so I'm getting that pre-development doesn't allow you can't do anything with something zoned that's zoned pre. You have to get it zoned. So again, if they want to build a house, they would have to get it zoned.
Correct. Or if they wanted to do a commercial business, they'd have to zone it for the commercial business.
And it's interesting that looking across on the other side of 1518, in the lower left corner, that's Schertz Forest. That's RA, zoned RA. And right above it, those lots just above it, that's all zoned RA.
RA, correct.
So,
And then starting about probably a little bit maybe off the map is where that crossfine PDD would start. But yes, everything on the, I guess, west of this property is essentially all zoned single-family residential agricultural, taking out the crossfine PDD for reference.
and it's, well, again, looking at the zoning map, and maybe I don't have the current one, because I'm seeing Halley's Cove is still zoned pre-development, and I'm pretty sure that's a PDD, right?
Is it colored purple? So that would be the PDD.
Yeah, I probably just haven't.
I think the colors for PDD and pre are very close in
Yes.
purple shades.
They are. Okay. Commissioners, anyone else? All right, this is on the agenda, again, for a recommendation. It's a zoning change, so it'll be our recommendation to City Council to either approve or deny this request, if someone would like to make a motion.
I move to recommend approval to ZC 2021-011 to the City Council.
I have a motion to recommend approval from Commissioner Haynes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And that was Commissioner Ray, correct? All right, so we have a motion and a second to recommend approval of ZC 2021-011 to City Council. Any more questions, further discussion? Call for the vote?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, that's 7 ayes, none opposed. That motion passes. And thank you, sir. If you'd like to stick around at the end of the meeting, I'd be more than happy to talk to you some more, if you've got the time, okay? All right, so item 6, 6A, PC 2021-034, consider and act upon a request for approval of a replat of the Verde Enterprise Business Park Unit 12, A and B, Lot 4, Block 10, and Verde Enterprises Business Park Unit 4A, Lot 3, Block 10. creating Verde Enterprise Business Park Unit 12, A and B, Lot 9, and Unit 4A, Lots 5 and 6, an approximately 15-acre tract of land generally located 1,400 feet east of the intersection of Schertz Parkway and Verde Parkway, City of Schertz, Guadalupe County, Texas.
So I won't repeat all of that, but this is for PC 2021-034. This is to establish the Unit 12A and B Lot 9, Unit 4A Lots 5 and 6. So to provide reference, the property is here outlined in green. So it is kind of a large parcel, so it does touch Mid-Cities Parkway as well as Verde Parkway. So you got the one lot that's already here. You have a kind of a square, and then you kind of have this oblong-shaped property. This is what's being spoken about tonight for the replat. So here's the replat exhibit without, the buildings and anything like that. So the property is being replatted on plats that were previously done. So the first one being the Verde Enterprise Business Park, Unit 4A, Lot 3, Block 10, was replatted back in 2010. And then the Verde Enterprise Unit 12A and B, Lot 4, Block 10, was replatted back in 2019, so pretty recently. So they are wanting to essentially combine to make this lot part of the replat, which would be Lot 9 under the 12A and B, and then this lot would now become just one, and then having this square portion by itself, this would be under the Unit 4A, Lots 5 and 6. So I know there's kind of a lot of units and lots and all of that, but hopefully I have the recorded plats. So this was the recorded plat for the Lot 4, Block 10. So this is the lot that they are wanting to make into Lot 9. So if you bear with me, so this is what they are making into Lot 9. Lots 5 and 6, which is this Lot 3 here, which you kind of see is this weird kind of half moon, and then was not platted at the time was this lot behind, which is creating these two lots. So it's taking that half moon from Lot 5 and putting it with Lot 6. So again, I know that was kind of a lot of lots and units, but hopefully that helped with seen the recorded plats to kind of help make a little bit of, sense of all of that. But with the lots, the public improvements, the water will be serviced by the City of Schertz as well as the sewer. The drainage infrastructure plans was reviewed by the City of Schertz Engineering Department, and they did approve it. The city also did review the tree preservation plan. At this time, the property does not have any heritage or protected trees on site, so there would not be any mitigation fees for this property. So with that being said, the replat is consistent with all applicable ordinances and regulations. It has been reviewed by the Engineering, Public Works, Planning, and Fire Departments, and staff is recommending approval of the Verde Enterprise Business Park Unit 12A and B, Lot 9, and Unit 4A, Lots 5 and 6 as submitted. The applicant is here in case there are questions, but of course I'm also here to answer any as well.
All right, thank you, Megan. Commissioners?
Can you go over the odd-shaped lot again first? A little bit slower, that one.
This one?
What's the history on that one?
So this one was platted in 2010, and then, so it was platted as, this odd shape, and then it had this portion that was along I-35. So now they are replatting it to be obviously a part of this new plat with 5 and 6.
And the two lots in front of that they're just going to stay the same?
These two?
Not those. Those. That's,
So this lot is, I should have probably had maybe a side-by-side.
the one's on 35, is that one or two lots?
This is just one lot on 35.
And then that's the creek that runs in the middle.
Correct.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I think if I was in the real estate business, commercial real estate business, maybe I'd understand this whole process a little bit better, because where's the one where you show the two lots with the, nope, the odd-shaped lot, the one that's becoming lot 9. That,
So this one, this
before?
one's lot 9.
Yeah, but you had one before that showed the rest of,
This is lot 5, and this is lot 6.
yes, but somewhere you have, I'm looking for this picture. You see that down there? That one, okay. So I'm trying to compare that with the new, so the one on the left, that's the one they want to make lot 9,
Correct.
right? And so what I see them doing is taking that right-hand boundary and the one below it here, and squaring it off, cutting that little piece out of the, and yeah.
And then this so from here down and over is creating that lot 6, and then this is becoming lot 5.
Okay, so they're taking, the new lot 5 will be squared off, and they're creating 6 between the two.
So this is going to remain one lot.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, instead of it going off to the left, that lot line will go straight up to the road.
Correct.
And then you're saying they'll take that horizontal line right now and move and eliminate it, so that that little, now up above right up against the road, that piece right there then becomes part of the lot below it.
Correct.
Okay.
I know,
like
you
said,
should have seen me, Emily, and Jesse. We were like, okay, the plat's going to have to read all of this. So it took us all a minute to...
Again, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really, we're just moving proposed property boundaries. I'm sure it has something to do with selling the property and being, they probably don't want these odd-shaped pieces. They rather have straight lines. But it's just, it gets, so in the grand scheme, it's not that important to us. But it does, it's so confusing. So, okay. I get it, I think. Commissioners, anybody else?
Yeah, just a curiosity. The lot that's getting bigger, the one right in the middle there, did that belong to the tire company at one time and they might have sold, or?
No, that one is that one Landmarks?
It belongs to the Wagners.
The Wagners, who owns this portion?
And the Wagners also own the tire company.
Right.
Okay.
Why don't you come on up and
There used to be tires stored back in that area, so I'm guessing they sold or agreed to divvy up the property somehow?
I don't know the full history. I just do know that the Wagners own that middle lot, and they also own the lot that the tire company is set up on. And my understanding is their lease may expire in 2 or 3 years.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, this item, Mr. Evans, did you have something? Nope? Okay. So item 6A is on our agenda for our action to either approve or deny.
A motion to approve PC 2021-034 as presented.
All right, that was a motion to approve from Commissioner Platt. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was Commissioner Broad. Commissioners, we have a motion and a second to actually approve PC 2021-034. Any further discussion? Call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. 7 ayes, none opposed, the motion passes. Item 6B, PC 2021-035, consider and act upon a request for approval of a replat of the Charles Bolton Subdivision, lots 5, 6, and 7, an approximately 1 acre tract of land generally located at the hard corner of Main Street and Schertz Parkway, City of Schertz, Guadalupe County, Texas.
So this is for PC 2021-035, the Charles Bolton Subdivision replat. So here is the property outlined in green, Schertz Parkway and Main Street. Here is the replat exhibit. So it is taking lots 5, 6, and 7 and creating one lot, Lot 8, Block 1. The property is going to be serviced by the City of Schertz water and sewer. The drainage was reviewed by the City of Schertz Engineering Department and approved the stormwater management plan for the subject tract. It is going to, there is not going to be any road improvements for Main Street or the Schertz Parkway due to the capacity of Schertz Parkway already being built to its full capacity, as well as Main Street. And the property is going to have the, it's hard to see, but so there is going to be, so it's creating the Lot 8, which is part of the Charles Bolton subdivision. And so with that being said, the staff is in approval of the Charles Bolton subdivision replat as submitted.
Thank you, Megan. Commissioners?
I just had one question about Lot 7. Is that an actual lot, or is that utility easement that's there? The reason I ask is that it shows 3 lots, but in the recent rezoning request, there was only 2 lots for that rezoning request.
On the zoning exhibit,
Well, if you'll bring up the aerial with the green outline.
so there is a portion of the property, it's hard to tell on the aerial, but there is a portion of the property that was owned by the Urban Renewal Agency, which is within that utility easement. But at the time, so it was done, gosh, many years ago, so the meets and bounds of it was definitely a hard thing to track down. So the lot line, as kind of, reviewed by the GIS department, is maybe a little bit more than what is being shown on the meets and bounds. So yes, there is that little bit of a, where my mouse go, there is a little piece between this property and the Schertz Parkway, but it's,
Still considered 3 lots, though.
yes, sir,
Okay, that's all I had. Just curious.
of course.
Well, I'm a little concerned about that, this whole depiction thing. If you zoom in there, that sliver right in there, and you look up, the tag is up above, is owned by the City of Schertz, not by 1017 Holdings. Okay, so I am concerned that I can't see. Let me get my thing. I don't see 3 lots there. I see 2 lots by 1017 Holdings and 1 owned by the City of Schertz. So is this photograph? Are these records out of date? And the city has turned that. I assume that's probably right of way or something. But have they given that or ceded that to 1017 Holdings?
Brian, this is the one that we had the discussions with Tony, as well as the applicant for the urban renewal portion.
Right. So what, yeah, and I would have to go back, Commissioner, certainly, and double check it, because we spent a lot of time going through the Urban Renewal Agency boundaries. I frankly don't recall. If the commission's concerned about it, I would table the item and we'll come back to you with a clearer explanation. I just have to go back and look. We spent a lot of time going through who owned what. I just can't recall off the top of my head. It would take me 15, 20 minutes to give you a definitive answer.
Okay. Well, I mean, it is a concern for me, and, you know, obviously, 1017 Holdings is on the impression that it's their property. But I look at the disconnect between what I'm seeing in this depiction of property lines and what I'm seeing on the replat map, so. And of course, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, and I realize neither are you, but, you know, if we were to press ahead and approve this replat, does that now mean that, you know, the 1017, you know, that the city just, if that is in terms, in true, the city property, would they now lose it because we approve this plat? Saying that's my concern.
So we wouldn't lose it, but yeah, and again, I apologize. I would recommend at this point you table it. We'll come back to you and we'll clarify.
Do you guys think you could?
Meeting.
Do a table, not a certain date, just do a table and it'll mean that.
Okay. And I have to admit, I have not done a tabled an item before, Commissioner Evans. Does that require a motion, or
Yes, sir.
how do we do that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Before we do that, too, just what brought this to my attention was that the rezoning that we did just recently, and City Council looked at it last night for the first reading and approved it, and the rezoning for Main Street mixed-use new development is only 2 lots, whereas with the replat, it shows 3 lots combining into 1. So you would have, if it were to be replatted, part of that plat's not zoned Main Street mixed-use new development. Well, it might just be an easement, though.
And I think that's kind of been the discussion on this plat in particular, because it did have property owned by the Urban Renewal Agency. And as Brian said, that there was a lot of research, not just done by myself or Brian, but also for the GIS department, because the records are very minimal to essentially pinpoint down the lot lines, especially for that parcel in particular. But what was able to be found was GIS was able, you know, to kind of create a potential lot, which was why we have the 3 lots. For Lot 7, most likely is that utility easement along Schertz Parkway. Lot 6, which is most likely obviously the bulk of what is now Lot 8, and then Lot 5. So again, we can go through, but just to reiterate, there was minimal information for the meets and bounds due to the age of when this was done. And so GIS did their best to create what was given to them in order to do this.
Because, yeah, looking at the zoning map, it does show that skinny little lot adjacent to Schertz Parkway. And, yeah. Well, Commissioners, this is on the agenda for our action, whatever you'd like to do.
I think I would propose to postpone consideration for 30 days, so we can get a straight answer.
The right word is
I'd suggest
table.
postponing to the next meeting, please.
It has to say, you have to say that.
Yeah, it's your motion, Commissioner Platt.
I motioned.
And basically, yeah, you want to table it, so whether or not you want to put a time limit on it, I think according to what Mr. Evans is saying, if you just motion to table it, then it will automatically appear on the next agenda.
In lieu of that, I motion to table. PC 2021-035.
I'll second that.
All right, Commissioner Odom. So I have a motion from Commissioner Platt, a second from Commissioner Odom to table item 6B, PC 2021-035. Any further discussion? Call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. 7 ayes, none opposed, that motion passes. Thank you, Brian, for the... All right, moving on to item 7, requests and announcements. Item A, request by commissioners to place items on a future planning and zoning agenda. Anyone have anything? 7B, announcements by commissioners. Item C, announcements by staff.
Staff does not have any announcements.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, and then item 8, again, we have an information packet on current status of projects with City Council, and there's no discussion on that. That brings us to item 9, there being no further business, this meeting's adjourned.